this. I've seen donkeys so loaded down with sheaves that it looks like a huge special privileges is also a nation that has great responsibility.
1.5 miles. Continue on the current road on the I-25 north.
Much is required. Israel had been putting it more into a modern terminology. Can the air raid sirens go off and people not be afraid? I'll never forget when we were in Bat Yam outside of Tel Aviv during the 1967 war. And as we were there in the hotel, just 20 minutes from Egypt by jet, and the Egyptians, of course, were across the Suez Canal and fighting in the Sinai. And in the middle of the night, about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, the air raid sirens began to wail. Now, we were the first major building along the Mediterranean from Egypt. And all of our group, of course, it was a blackout, and we all made our way to the basement where there was the air raid shelter. And we had some unique experiences getting there. In the dark, rousted out of the sleep. Some ladies were wanting their husbands to wait for them while they put on their makeup. Crazy things that you do. But I'll tell you, there is something that is quite terrifying.
Okay.
In the darkness of the night, hearing those sirens wail.
Cool.
The evil of judgment, and God has not brought it. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he reveals his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Interesting that God is saying God is not going to work, God is not going to move, God is not going to judge, except he reveals it to his prophets. And so, before the judgment came, the prophets were warning the people that God was going to judge. The lion hath roared, and who will not fear?
White van.
He asks the questions that we dare not speak aloud to one another in private Christian company. Much of what he says is going to be informed by his pain and his suffering. Listen to what he says in verse 1. Then Job answered and said, Even today my complaint is bitter, my pain is listless because of my groaning. Or even now my complaint is bitter. Why? Because the false accusations of his friends, because of the unrelenting suffering they're bearing down on him. In verse 3 he says, Oh, that I knew their dead bodies around the end, that I might come to a sea.
In half a mile, continue on the left 3 lanes on Highway 85 South, South Santa Fe Drive.
Where are you? Where are you, Lord? Does God have a place where he considers the human condition? And so he says, oh, that I might find him, that I might come to his seat. And again, when he's talking about his seat, he's talking about the place where God occupies, where God judges, where